Welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle DeTeach, or Coach Danny D, and I help women to create luxury brands by creating processes and tightening their branding. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease and enjoy your life. My happy space is spending as much time as humanly possible in my pajamas, and I want to help others to find their happy space while still running profitable businesses. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello, and welcome to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I am Coach Danny D with Workflow, and I am always here helping small businesses play big. The Profits in Pajamas podcast is here to help you to work with ease. So I want you to have that lifestyle that you want, whatever that may look like. For me, it's pajamas. For you, it may be something totally different. But I want you to have that lifestyle that you want while running your business without having to feel like you're bogged down by your business. So today's topic is we're going to be talking about setting sales goals. So in an earlier episode, we talked about knowing your numbers, we talked about pricing for profit, we talked about all those different things. But I want to talk to you about setting sales goals. And it's a step that a lot of times we will, skip over and miss. And I think that, one of the reasons why is, we just kind of just go with the flow of what's happening. But there's power in setting a sales goal. And I would suggest setting an annual goal and working your way backwards. So, one thing that I would say, like I was talking to a friend recently about income and what they were looking for. And they threw out a number and they said, "Is this number absurd?" And I think that that's really relative. That's a hard question to answer. Like, is this a good sales goal? Is this a not good sales goal? That's a very hard question to answer. But I will give you some tips around what I suggest as you're setting a sales goal. So, one thing that I suggest is to, I'm going to say, I'm going to call this the Goldilocks approach. You want to make sure that the goal is not too big, but you also don't want it to be too small. So I've seen people do both extremes, and both extremes can either end in frustration if you make the number too big and you can't obtain that number, then you may end up frustrated. If the number is too small, you're not stretching yourself. So if you know that you can hit the number easily without even thinking about it, it's too small. You need to go bigger. But if the number is nowhere near anything that you've done before, then I'm not saying that you can't do something that you haven't done before, because that's far from what I'm saying. But if it's just extreme, it can end up being frustrating. So you have to find that sweet spot where you're stretching yourself, but where you can back it up. And if you're not sure, again, if you know you can hit it easily, it's too small. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. So we're gonna just rule that out, the too small end. So let's deal with the big end. It's a number that's like out there, and you're not sure if that number is attainable. The way that I suggest you think about this is, if you're not sure if that number is attainable, then once you put that number in the atmosphere, now work backwards. So if that number is, let's say that number, I'm just throwing this out there, clean math. If that number is, 100,000, that's what the number you're trying to get to. And then you're going to divide that by 12 and you got your monthly goal. And then you're going to, divide that. Then you can divide that by 4 and you have your weekly goal. Okay. When you're looking at those numbers, show your work like you would in school. And I know I talked before about, people and math and people glazing over when we get into math. We're not going to glaze over because we're not talking about math. We're talking about money. So hopefully that makes you a little more comfortable. We're not talking about math. We're talking about money. How about that? So what you want to look at is, okay, if my monthly goal is fill in the blank, how many things do I need to sell to get there? Depending on what you sell, you may have a array of products. You may have, just one product. Depending on what that is, what is it that I need to sell to get to this monthly goal? And start making that concrete. So if it's that I need to sell, if I know my average, let's say I'm going to go with the balloon business on this one. If I know my average balloon sale is about $500 and I'm trying to get to $1,000 a week, then I know I need to sell 2 events to get to that 1,000. So now it's concrete. Is selling 2 events a week, something that I can do? Even if it's something that's more than I do, maybe I do one a week right now. Is the two something that I can stretch myself to? If it's something that I can stretch myself to, then that goal is still a good goal. But let's say, I am saying that I need to make 10,000 in a week. And now that's meaning that I have to do far more jobs to get there. Maybe that's not realistic. So maybe given my business model, that's not realistic. It depends on what your business model is too. You have a whole team, then you can take on much more, or how you're structured, right? But if the number of things that I need to sell is a number that I can foresee myself selling, then my goal is a good goal. If it's a number that maybe I'm not selling right now, but if I put my foot on the gas, I can sell that many, then it's a good goal. If I can build a strategy around making it to that sales amount, then it's a good goal. If I have to sell 4 million things and that is not even close to what my capacity is, then I need to rethink the goal. So that would be my advice as far as how to set the goal and reach that sweet spot of, is this a good goal? Is it too, am I being, if I am I, playing in the minor leagues with this goal? Am I, hitting it out of the park with this goal? Or have I just gone to another realm? And the thing about it is, I never want to discourage anybody from dreaming the big dream, because there's something about putting that big dream out there that makes it reality. Because again, if you're showing your work and you're backing into it, you start to move a little bit differently, because okay, if I'm going to hit my month, I got to do this. And so you're convicted differently and you move differently to get that goal, because now your mind is wired to achieving it. Again, so I'm not going to ever tell you not to dream the big dream, but don't put yourself in a situation where you are saying something that it won't even match up. Like, let's say you have a physical product and you can only get X amount produced. Well, if you can only get, let's say, you can get, 500 items produced in a week. And based on your goal, you need to sell 10,000 items, then that's when you need to adjust. And that doesn't mean that in 6 months you can't, you might not be to that place. You can constantly progress, and your goals should constantly be going up. You're not, the objective is not to stay in the same place. It's always to be going up and doing more and doing better. But you want to make sure that you have that goal set to begin with, and that you're not just letting it be haphazard, that it happens how it happens. It's something about setting those goals that make things happen. Because when you get close to the end of that month and you're just shy of that goal, you're gonna find a way to get there. And the one thing that I learned when I first started doing, consistent sales goals is, even in the months, like, I don't hit my goal every month, but in the months that I don't hit, I don't feel bad about it, because setting that goal in increments that goes up, I did better than I did before, even if I don't hit it. So I know that I'm still stretching myself up and up and up. And I also know that, and when you start really getting deeper into your goals, you can start adjusting them for seasons. I also know that, certain months are going to be slower months. So, initially when I set my goal, I just divided it out by 12 and just went with it. Um, Now when I set my goal, I may have a higher goal in January than maybe I have in June, just based on seasons and markets. So I still have the same total goal, but those individual goals are based on, I know this is a hot season. So I know, let's say if you're in the balloon industry, for a lot of people, Valentine's is really big. So if Valentine's is your biggest, February is going to be your biggest month, then don't set the same goal that you set in January for February. February's goal should be, pushing the roof, because you already know that's a higher month, and you already know you're already coming in making volume on in February. So you want to make sure that that goal is that much higher, so that you are pushing yourself to go a little bit further. And the beauty about it is, because you do that back end math and figure out what it is you have to do to hit those numbers, then you can still operate in ease. You don't have to just book yourself solid to do that. You know what it is you need to do. And it's up to you to decide, if you know that you need to make $1,000, you can decide that you're going to sell a bunch of, things at $10 to make $1,000, or you could sell a couple of things at $500 and make that same money. So it also encourages you to pay attention to what you're promoting and what you're selling, because those things will, you want to push those things that are going to get you to your goals faster. So sit down, pick a number. Look at what you did in your previous years. Look at, if you haven't been doing it for years, look at what you did in your previous months. Look at what you did organically without having a sales goal. And then, you know, pour some gasoline on that and light that up. You wanna really, push yourself outside of what's, super comfortable, because you can do more. You definitely can do more, but understand, because, I'm still in these pajamas. Um, Understand that doing more does not necessarily mean, booked and busy. I tell y'all all the time, I'm not team booked and busy. I'm team paid and well rested. So get on that team. But one way to get yourself further is to set your sales goals. All right, that's what I have for you today. Again, I am Coach Danny D. I am the owner of Workflow. I help small businesses to play big by helping them to be intentional about how they go about their branding, their systems, and connecting with their ideal clients so that they can have their free time to enjoy the things they want to enjoy in life, whether that's being in their pajamas or laying on the beach or spending time with your family, whatever that looks like for you. I'm here to help small business owners to get to that while still running profitable businesses. So that's who I am. The Profits in Pajamas podcast is all about living that lifestyle of working with ease. If you want to find out more about me, you can always go to at your workflow on Instagram or on Facebook, or you can go to my website, coachdannyd.com. And all of my contacts will be in the description below this video. So I can't wait to see you guys next week so we can talk more about working with ease. Thank you for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with ease. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram. For more information about building your luxury brand, register for my upcoming luxury brand workshop at coachdannyd.com.